Hi guys, welcome to my live stream. Essentially, it was I think I tried going live a few minutes ago, but I didn't really know how to. So I figured, there's always room for learning. So I decided I'm going to try again and see if this time it actually works. And besides that, I also wanted to go live on Instagram. So I was live on Instagram instead. And yeah, so I I had no idea that one could actually go live if you had 1,000 subscribers, right? I just found that out. So that's the reason I'm actually trying it out and seeing, if I can actually go live and how is it. It's not like I really prepared anything for you guys, but since this live video is actually going to save, I think we have the option to delete it as well, but I'm not really going to do that. I'm just going to leave it on my channel. So if people want to watch the live, they can watch the live when I'm not live. I think that's how it basically works, right? I hope so. And if I'm wrong, you guys can correct me. Anyway, it's such a hot day today, but at least it's very cloudy. At least it's very cloudy. It's not that sunny today, but yeah. So instead of wasting time, I'm gonna be just talking about obviously part of the reason why I haven't really been on YouTube. I haven't really been on YouTube for a lot of reasons, and yeah, some reasons I think are personal, but some reasons I can obviously share with you guys on YouTube because at the end of the day, that's why I'm having a YouTube channel, right? But the first and most important reason as to why I've not been on YouTube is obviously because I was actually in the middle of relocating back to Africa. I used to live in Asia, and it's been sort of like an on and off thing, and I was a bit undecided whether I should really move back or if I should stay in Asia because I do love Asia, and I used to live in Malaysia to be specific. So yeah, Malaysia was really nice. I had, my on and off relationship with it. I think I had already moved in 2021. I moved back to Africa, and for some odd reason, I ended up moving back to Malaysia again, right? Um, which of course goes without saying. When I first moved back to Namibia, I felt, oh my gosh, I felt like my whole world was like breaking down. And initially, I thought it was the ideal thing to do because, my family is in Namibia, and I felt, moving back home would be so ideal because I would be close to them, and like all of that. But then I didn't realize that in Malaysia, I also had family because I've lived there for so long. So obviously, all my friends were there. Everything that I've known being an adult is back in Malaysia, and it it has gotten to a point where I felt like my relationship with Malaysia was so solid because I feel like my whole life was there. My whole life was there. So Namibia just had like almost nothing to offer me aside from being with my family, and I'm realizing that as much as like obviously family is important, it's not enough. It's not enough. When I moved back to Namibia, it was so difficult. Like life was so difficult. Like the culture was different, even in terms of friendships. Like it was very difficult to make friends because obviously the friends I was accustomed to was in. So I found it really difficult to make friends, and conversations were very difficult to a point where I could be like in the middle of people having a conversation, and I would just feel like this is not for me. This is not for me. Because remember, Malaysia is more of like a Muslim society, although they're mixed. There's a lot of like Islam going on. So it's not. I'm not saying it's not common, but I'm saying like people don't just proudly like talk down on women. I had like Muslim friends, and they were male, and it was so difficult to like hear them proudly like talking nonsense about women. And then I moved back home, people would just be like sitting in beer parlors and talking about women, and I'll just be like, this conversation is not for me. So yeah, I feel like in 2021 I found it really difficult to make friends because conversations were different, and then obviously the quality of friends was different too. I always felt like it is so difficult to make quality friends, like regardless of where you are. Because remember, when I say friends in Malaysia, it's friends I've had for years. So to just get up and like make a friend instantly, I think it's really difficult. So I feel like when I moved back home, it was hard. Like just making a friend was hard. And I don't know what it is, but I just couldn't really find like a friend that matched what I was looking for in a friend, because I already had a best friend. She was from Russia. She is from Russia, not was, sorry. And her values are just, and her standard is just so high that sometimes I feel like I'm comparing her to people here when I'm looking for a friend, which I know is wrong. So it kind of like that comparison makes it difficult for me to make friends, because I'm always like sort of looking to meet someone with her morals, with her values, with her thought process, you know. So yeah, I remember in 2021 when I moved to Namibia, I didn't have friends at all, and it was difficult to make friends because all my friends were in Malaysia, you know. And it was so sad. It was so sad. I was constantly thinking about, you know, like if I should move back to Malaysia, and you know, and then eventually I moved back to Malaysia because I was just like missing my friends, and I was missing my old life, and I was so used to living in Malaysia. I was so used to living in Malaysia, right? This is how funny it was. Oh, hi Fayoz. Hi. How are you? Where are you from? Where are you from? So this is why it was so difficult. I'd go to the shop, for example. I didn't even know which spices to buy. I didn't even know which spices to buy, or like which snacks to buy, because I was used to the Malaysian snacks, the Malaysian food, the Malaysian spices. Like I knew everything about Malaysia, right? Because I lived there for so long. So Malaysia felt like my home more than Namibia did. Because when I lived in Namibia, I was really young. But when I left, I was also really young. So so most of my adult life, I was in Malaysia. So everything I know was Malaysia. The food, the people, the culture, the norms, everything was absolutely Malaysia. And I think that is actually what I sort of miss about Malaysia, the food, because they have so much food. And I was actually in Malaysia. I was in Malaysia in November 2024. We're in 2025 now. Sometimes I forget the years. Hi Luna, what's up? What's up? I don't even know how to reply to comments, but I think I can just verbally say it when I reply to you guys. Yeah. So yeah, basically, right, like I said, I was in Malaysia in November 2024. That was just about 3 months ago. And I have to say I missed it. Like I really missed Malaysia. But it was raining a lot. I don't know why, yeah. When we went to Malaysia in November, I didn't think about the weather. Actually didn't think about the weather. And that's one mistake I really made. Guys, if you are traveling, please think about the weather, because like when we were there it was raining like almost every day, and it just ruined our whole trip. But not 100%, we still had fun, but I'm just saying if it wasn't raining, I feel like we would have had a much better trip. So the rain wasn't that good. But yeah, I missed the food. There was like so much to eat, you know, like we could eat some Thai food, some Malay food, some Indian food. We could eat like Chinese food. Like it was just food everywhere. Whereas like where I'm living now, like food is really limited. And sometimes I just feel like, can we just have more food options? But then again, our population is so small, so even if we wanted to have more food options, it would be like near impossible, because we just don't have the population to like cater to like, you know, different cuisines and a lot of restaurants. You know, like how in Asia you have like restaurants like everywhere. It's like a whole street of just restaurants, and you can just eat and eat and eat and eat. That's what I miss about Malaysia, just having like all these food stalls, and you can just eat whatever you want. And there are just so many kinds of food, nasi lemak. Ah, just amazing. And actually, my favorite Malaysian food, by the way, is nasi goreng. Funny. I think nasi goreng is my favorite food because when I was a student, that was my go-to meal. That was what I ate. Like if I was feeling hungry, if I wanted to eat something, I would definitely eat nasi goreng. I am. So for those of you who don't know, it's basically just like fried rice. It's fried rice with chicken, and it's so delicious, especially when it's made by the Malaysian people themselves. I tried making like fried rice by myself, like back home. It's like okay, but it's not giving me that Malaysian vibe. So I just wish like I could obviously. Sometimes I wish I could move back to Malaysia, but sometimes not. Anyways, what are you guys up to today? What are you guys up to? This is my first actual live on YouTube. It's kind of cool, but like I think it's like better when you broadcast it and like your viewers actually know that you are gonna be live. For now, I'm just really making this live because obviously I'm at home and I don't really have much to do, so I'm just using this time to like come on live, see how it is, and just vibe with you guys, washing clothes. Wow, I wish somebody could wash my clothes as well. I have so many dirty clothes. I have so many dirty clothes, you guys. I have so many dirty, dirty, dirty clothes. But yeah. Anyways, wait, let me share this live video. I think there is a way to share it. Copy link. And then I will share. Just try. See you come live. Okay. Anyway, last week, like on my, some people were asking me about remote jobs and how to find remote work. This question is quite generic because I feel like there are so many ways to find remote work um, as well as sites where you can do remote work. So obviously I am going to make a video on how to find remote, actually various videos, and I have various videos on my channel already on how you guys can find remote jobs. But maybe because the videos are old and I've posted them like a long time ago, that's why some of my followers can't see the videos and they think I haven't made videos on how you can actually find remote work. But that's okay because I will make more videos again, and I will definitely show you guys some websites on how you can find remote work. I think remote work is like becoming more and more popular more now because like safety is becoming like of high concern in like various societies. I can only speak for myself. So a lot of people, because of the economic difficulties, they're not able to find jobs in their countries, and they start thinking, you know what, why not find a remote job? Which I think is a good thought process because at the end of the day, you don't need to be in a certain country to be able to work there. There are so many companies that are actually hiring people regardless and irrespective of where they are in the world. So I'm a prime example of it. I've worked for a Polish company before for a good 5 years, and I was never in Poland until 2023, right? That was 2 years ago. That was the one and only time I actually went to Poland. But prior to that, I have been working for that company for like a good 5 years. So you see, it's very possible for a person to get remote work regardless of where you are. And I think it was such a good option because I was literally living in Asia and the companies in Europe, we were like 6 hours time difference. So So I had time to like, you know, do everything I needed to do during the day, and then um, after hours I could do my work for that particular company. So the time difference actually worked in my favor. The only time it didn't work in my favor is because sometimes I had to work till 2 a.m. or I had to work till 3 a.m., you know? So that's the only perk. And then the other time I worked remotely, it was for a school in Malaysia, but should I say but, or was it still in my favor? Because at that time I had moved back to Namibia and we were working remotely. So I was now 6 hours behind. Yes, I was 6 hours behind and they were 6 hours ahead. So meaning there were times I had to start working at 7 a.m., 8 a.m., but it meant that the other teachers were only starting to work at 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., right? So I had to start working earlier than them, although we were at the same time. But because of the time difference, it seemed as if I was actually working way earlier, which was like early in the morning, and they were working later on in the day, right? So yeah, I will make several videos and obviously explain to you guys how to find remote work, as well as the websites that you can use to find remote jobs. And I think it's a really great idea. You know, you shouldn't really limit your mindset to, if you can't find a physical job in your country, then you're done. Try other markets, like try working for companies that are in other countries, even though it means like you are working remotely. You don't have to be there physically. Like, like you know, in in my country, for example, in Namibia, people are so scared of human trafficking and being human trafficked, which I don't really blame them because the human trafficking is real at the end of the day, you know. But that is also the reason why some people prefer not to find jobs abroad, and then as a result they will only prefer to work remotely because then they know for sure they aren't in any physical danger because you don't have access to them, you know, if that makes sense to you. So yeah, it works in favor of people that are also afraid of human trafficking, obviously, because I feel like, yeah, you have a valid reason to be worried about being human trafficked. And some companies do appear to be legit, but the whole time they're not. So yeah, it's best to be careful, of course. Sorry guys, I quickly had to mute because I was telling something to my sister. But yeah. So I was just saying that there are a lot of people that actually want to work remotely, but they don't know how to. So I'll be sharing more of that content on my channel. But guys, do also let me know, like, what else do you want to see on my channel? I know you guys want to see scholarships. I know you guys want to see like remote work, but what else do you want to see? Because like I am a traveler, I travel a lot, but I never really share travel content on YouTube. I share like a little bit of my travels on my Instagram, but I'm curious to know if you guys really actually want to see like more of my travel content and like what I get up to, where do I visit, which countries have I been to, and all of that, right? So let's get into some of the information that I prepared on how you guys can get. No, actually, this is for people that want to teach. I have some companies here that you can actually apply with. So let me just quickly check something. Um, let me check something. this is the, what is this? Okay, let me just quickly check. Okay, so this information is for people that want to teach online. Okay, if you want to teach online, this information is for you. The first site you might want to look at is called Preply. Preply is spelled Preply. Preply. I used to think it's Preply for some reason, but it's not. It's apparently Preply. So Preply is good because obviously you don't need qualification. In fact, I'm not even sure if you need a teaching certificate. But if you do, you can go to teacherrecord.com and actually apply for one that is free, or you could obviously go to other English platforms where you can do a TOEFL certificate, right? And generally, I feel like if you want to be an English teacher, why not just invest in a TOEFL certificate that is legit and you can actually use for any website at any time? Because remember, even if you want a teaching job in Asia, right, you still need to have a teaching certificate. You can have any degree, and this is the ironic part. To get a job in Asia, right, teaching job, you can have any certificate, you can have any degree, whether it's in architecture, you can have a degree in business management, you can have a degree in finance, you can have a degree in any field, but you still need a teaching certificate. That is like the key to getting a job, a teaching job in Asia. Okay, not just any job, I'm talking about teaching jobs. So if you are interested in getting an English teaching job in Asia, you need a TOEFL certificate regardless of what qualification you hold, because the TOEFL certificate, that's the most important. Okay, so number one is Preply. Preply is good because, like I said, you actually don't need a qualification to create a profile on Preply. Now, some people get nervous when they are asked to make a introduction video or an introductory video, which I think shouldn't really be your biggest concern, because the video should just be short, brief, and straight to the point, right? So, number one, obviously, make sure that your background is clear and the person who's watching the video can see you clearly. Okay, number two, make sure that your lighting is good. People underestimate the power of good light, right? Imagine if you were shooting a video and people could barely see you, right? So you want your light to be good and you want your background to be clear. You don't want like all sorts of material stuff to be in your background, right? So this, I think, is good enough. Or it could be white, it could be any neutral color, to be honest. And then, of course, you want to be looking straight into the camera. And then number one, you want to introduce yourself. Do not say too much about who you are. For example, stating your surname and contact details, that is unnecessary. Okay, so you can start with your name. Talk about, obviously, your qualifications, like qualifications that are related to the job you're applying for. So in that case, obviously you're applying for an English teaching job, so you'd want to talk about the qualification that is related to that. And if you don't have one, it's okay. Okay, and then after that, you want to talk about your experience. Now, you might have 10 years of working experience, but not all the experience is related to the job. So you need to focus on the experience, talk about the experience that is actually related to the job that you are applying for. Okay, so in this case, if it's teaching English, then you should talk about your experience in teaching English. And then, very important, talk about what it is you can offer to the student. Right, because there's no point of you like just coming on here and then you tell the student in your introductory video that join my class, without actually talking about why they should join your class. Like, what is it that you can offer them? Like, what is it that you can train them on and help them improve on, right? So you need to talk about stuff like that. And then, yeah, end your video with a nice message that you can't wait for them to, book lessons with you, etc. Okay, so don't make your video too long. I would say like anything between 50 seconds to 1 minute should be sufficient enough. And anything that is longer than that, for example, 3 minutes, I would say no. No, no, and no. Because people's attention span is like really, really growing shorter by the day. It's like being on TikTok, right? Have you ever seen a video on TikTok and that video is like 2 minutes? You barely want to watch it. But when it's like 20 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, it's like, okay, it's watchable. It's something that draws your attention. But the minute it's longer than that, you do not want to watch it. So that's what I'm saying. When you're making an introduction video for your English jobs, try to make them a minute and shorter. Okay? Do not try to exceed a minute, because I feel like 1 minute is already too much, because what exactly are you talking about, right? Because all you're supposed to do is say your name, talk about your qualifications related to the job, talk about your experience related to the job, talk about what you can offer to the students and why they should learn with you. And also, very important, try to be sympathetic. By that I mean try to show that you understand why they need to learn English, and you know that it can be challenging, you know that it can be difficult, but you are here to support them during this time. Something sentimental that shows that you are really here for the students and you understand that learning a new language can be quite difficult, right? So that's what I mean by try to be a bit sympathetic. Okay, so I spoke about Preply, and then another famous one would be italki. Yes, I've used italki before, and I think it's also a very great option for people that obviously want to teach English online. Italki is simple, like when you're setting up your profile, it can be really, really simple, and I just think, it's one of those apps that just never disappoint. Okay, give me a second, y'all. Give me a second, would you? Okay. Websites you can use if you want to English online. So the first one was Preply, and I say Preply was good because you obviously don't need to have a qualification. And yeah, it's simple to set up your portfolio. You just enter your details, your qualifications, description of yourself, and right. The website is pretty straightforward, and then you wait for them to accept you into their program. Once you're accepted, you are good to go. The next thing is only obviously for students to book lessons with you. I understand they first have to book a trial lesson with you. Once, if they do like your lesson, then obviously they can book another lesson. So it begins with trial lessons. And it is also a website that I personally use. So that's why I'm saying Preply is good. It can be difficult to find students, which is why it's so important for you to use the right keywords. Such as, let me say, if you are teaching business English, please include that in your bio and description, etc. And if you are teaching, let's say, English for beginners, make sure those keywords are there, because when students come on Preply, they are going to choose keywords. And obviously, or they are going to search by using keywords. Now, also, importantly, you need to remember that Preply has about 25,000 teachers. Do you know how difficult it would be to find your profile? Especially when you don't have students that have booked with you yet. Exactly. So with that said, that's why it's very important to set up a very good profile and make sure that your profile picture is stunning, clear, and facing the front. You don't want to be in your profile picture and you're like this, or make sure your profile picture is good. I'm not saying wear a tie, but at least wear a decent outfit. Okay. So the second one is italki. I remember I used to use italki like back in the years. I'm not sure why I stopped, but I think it's really because like I was studying and working. So I was really, really exhausted all the time. When I say exhausted, I mean exhausted. And yeah, and I think that's why I never really hanged around italki, but italki is another one you can use. That's it. And the good thing about italki also is that it's really simple to set up. So if you really interested in teaching English online, I know a friend of mine does use it, and she's been on there for many years. So yeah, try italki. And the third one I'm going to recommend to you guys is Native Camp. Okay, the site is called Native Camp. You can also use Native Camp. And another one I want to recommend would be Cambly. Yeah. So let me give you guys this four for now. Preply, italki, Native Camp, and Cambly. 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 If you search those on Google, you'll be able to find information on them. And you actually be able to see like how you can set up your profile. It's not really something that I necessarily have to like show you guys step by step, unless I do like a YouTube tutorial on how to set up these profiles. But I think as English teachers, I think these profiles are really straightforward. Like when you're setting it up, it's not something that is too complex. It's something that really you'll just be able to do. Okay, so make sure you search for those websites and you actually put your profile there. Register your profile, fill up all the necessary information, and then let's start making money, and a whole lot of money. No, it's not. I don't think it's gonna be like that much. But yeah, a lot depends on obviously how much you work. For example, on Preply, you are allowed to set your price, and it's so tricky because sometimes students don't want to book with a new teacher at a high rate, but later on you can change your rates as you get more students, because there's also this narrative that the lower your price, probably the more your lessons suck and you are not that good, because obviously like the great teachers, their prices are like a bit more higher because they know like they can deliver what they're pricing. It's not just for the sake of pricing. But yeah, like I said, again, it's really tricky because some people like they think if your price is too low, you're not a good teacher. But then sometimes if the price is too low, I mean it's too high, then you don't really get students, right? So it's very tricky. Hi kid, how are you? Oh my gosh, I was literally thinking of you today. I was thinking of you today. I even spoke about you today. I was like, I miss you so much. I miss you so much, dude. And I miss your YouTube as well. Why are you not posting on YouTube? Are you like Rauha number 2? But I'm back to posting, yo. I'm at home. I'm at home, my love. I'm at home. I'm back to posting for real. This time I'm being for real. Like I'm not playing. I'm not playing anymore. So why are you not posting? Is it because like your job is so busy or what? I know you're working towards being a millionaire on our behalf so that we never have to work again. Donkey. Yo guys, I am so exhausted. Today I was actually telling a story of how we almost got deported in Tanzania on Instagram, right? Man, this story is actually so hilarious because we don't know who actually made the mistake, right? So what happened? Okay, let me start from the beginning. We were in Kenya with Kid. Soon I have just what? You're lying, fam. Okay, don't worry, I'll call you and we'll talk about it. I'll call you. Anyway, so we were in Kenya with Kid, right? Kid is the one who's commenting. We were all chilling, we were in Mombasa, having the time of our lives. And then we decided, like, yo, man, let's go to Zanzibar, right? So we took the bus with my brother and we arrived in Tanzania. And I remember the immigration officer was like, Southeast Asia, winner, winner, winner. Yo, this kid, guys, this friend of mine is something else. Yo, but Southeast Asia is. Oh, which reminds me, I need to plug you with something, but I'll text you. I'll text you after this live. Anyway, guys, so we get to immigration at the border, and I remember the immigration officer was like, "Oh, where you guys? Oh, you guys are from Namibia. It's so cool. We rarely get Namibians crossing through this. Yay! We did it again. You know." I'm just that person. I'm just that person. Every time I hear like, "Oh, this is really done by Namibians," I'm like, "Ah, I did it again." Anyway, that's just a joke, but yeah, low-key feel that way, you know. So he's like, I hope you guys will have a great time in Tanzania. What are you guys planning to do? We're like, no, we're just gonna be in Dar es Salaam, and then after that we're going to Zanzibar, and you know. And he's like, cool, cool, cool. So he stamps our passports, and he's like, welcome to Tanzania, have a great time. And I'm seeing how he's stamping, you know. So we're in Dar es Salaam. We chilled there for about 5 days before we went to Zanzibar because we had to like fix our hair and stuff. I had to braid my hair because it was so old. And cool, we go to Zanzibar. So as soon as you get to Zanzibar, remember at Zanzibar they have like a border of their own. So they also have immigration officers there. And the immigration officer at Zanzibar looks at my brother and I and he says, you guys are illegal immigrants. No. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, because like you don't have an entrance stamp to be in Tanzania. You only have an exit stamp that you exited Kenya, but you don't have a stamp that indicates that you entered Tanzania and how long you can stay here. And I'm like, that's impossible because we were obviously at the immigration counter and he stamped our passports and he's like, yeah, you guys only got an exit stamp. You didn't get a stamp to enter Tanzania. So right now, you guys, it's like you are illegal immigrants. And I'm like, yo. So at this point, I can see where it's going to. So I'm like, I do what I usually do. I pretend that I don't really speak English. So they're talking in Swahili and I understand a bit of Swahili. So he's like talking about blah, 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 money this and money that. And then he says we should go, because now people are queuing up and like more and more people are coming in the line. So he's like, we should go to another office. So him and another lady, they drag us to another office. So we go there. And then he's talking to us and, you know, he's like, so you know that now I'm to give you my stamp is gonna be very expensive. So how are we going to do this now? How are we going to do this? Because I cannot just give you my stamp for free. So at that point, I understood what he was saying. You know, it was more about a money thing. So I tell him like, sir, but I don't understand. I don't understand. So I call embassy Namibia, Tanzania. My embassy here, Tanzania. I call now because I don't understand. And this guy totally fell for it. He thought I couldn't really speak English. I was like, no, dude, I don't understand what you're saying. So, so just let me call the embassy, right? And then as soon as like I said that, I think he got a bit nervous because he's like, oh shucks, I don't want no embassies involved in this. So he just said, no, it's fine. You don't have to call the embassy, but next time make sure you stamp your passport and da 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 da. Now I'm just going to have to give you my stamp for free. And then he's stamping our passports and he's like, you can go. And I'm like, ah, Aibo, such a dramatic king. Like, when did you miss the crowns when people were giving crowns to the kings in Africa? Hmm? Anywho, I'm just glad like pretending not to speak English actually saved our day because I couldn't imagine just paying to get a stamp. Because in my mind, I'm like, look, we passed immigration. This guy stamped our passports. And for some reason, didn't stamp our passports to enter Tanzania, but he exit us from Kenya. Like the whole thing was just so complex. And I just feel like I till today, I still don't know what happened. And I've traveled so much and how I missed that and how I didn't even check my passport after it was stamped. It's kind of like dumb of me. But I think I think a lot of people, regardless of like how much they've traveled, I think like once you see like this guy stamps your passport and says welcome to, let's say welcome to South Africa, you always assume that you're good to go, and you never really check your stamp until like later on. That's when you're like, oh yeah, let me check. Oh, let me see what stamps I got in this passport, you know. But you don't really check your passport to say, to with the assumption that you didn't get a stamp when you saw someone stamping your passport. But I don't know. I just need to be more careful, I think, because that was such a lesson learned, man. That was such a lesson learned. And I'm just never doing that again. Anywho, so yeah, that was our ordeal at the Tanzanian border, at Zanzibar to be specific. And yeah, as much as like I loved certain things about Zanzibar, I don't think I'm gonna go back. But I do want to go back to Tanzania because, oh man, I fell in love with the people in Tanzania, you guys. Like, Tanzanian people, they are so sweet, mashallah. Like, they are so sweet. Like, if I can think of like a country with really nice people, Tanzania comes to my heart. Like, Tanzania just has really some of the world's kindest people ever. Even the way they interact on social media, because I remember like I did this video about Tanzania where I spoke about like how nice Swahili really sounds, because Swahili is like Swahili that is spoken specifically in Tanzania is like the French of Africa. Come back to, yo man, I want to come back to Kenya. I was even talking to someone today. I swear I can show you the message, and I was like, I miss Kenya so much. But you know what I really miss about Kenya? I miss the Maasai village. Like, I miss Mount Suswa. That's the only, like, not necessarily the only, obviously we miss you, but like Mount Suswa, guys, is so beautiful. Beautiful. I wish I owned a house there, like a holiday home where I could just like disappear. Like, if I wanted to go on holidays, I could just go to Mount Suswa and just stay there. That's how much I loved Mount Suswa, by the way. Like, it was just beautiful. You guys, if you have a chance like to visit the Maasai people, please go visit the Maasai people. But Kenya is just so wild, y'all. Like, there's always something to do. Like, it's so fun. I think we used to go out like every single day when we were in Kenya, which is so wrong. Which is so wrong, guys. Like, there was a time I literally had to back off because I kid and my brother, like, they were going out every day. And I was like, yo, you guys can go. I'm just gonna stay back, mind my business, and keep quiet. Because, man, every day there was something. If it wasn't an event, if it wasn't something happening, if it wasn't a carnival, if it wasn't a festival, if it wasn't a meeting with couch surfers, it was just something. It was always something in Kenya. Hey, Cedric! I miss you so much. Guys, Cedric was one of the people we met in Kenya, by the way. So that's what I'm saying. Like, Kenya was just amazing. Like, we met so many friends, we made so many friends, and like every day it was just something. Literally, there was always something to do, which is like unlike in Namibia. In Namibia, life is like more laid back and relaxed, and if you're not used to it, you will be bored. You will literally be bored in Namibia. But in Kenya, man, a lot is happening there. A lot. Like, when I say they have everything, guys, they have everything. The only thing I don't miss is the crowds and the traffic jam, and you know when you are downtown and then there are like so many people. Yo, guys. You gotta be strong when you're living in Kenya, because downtown is not for the faint-hearted. But Mina, I was ready for it. You know, I still remember, kid, do you remember like when people would push you, and then at first I used to turn around like, oh, my friend, like, don't you even say sorry or something, because I'm like not used to it. And then I got used to it. Like, in Kenya, if somebody bumps you, you just keep going, like, and you have to bump them back and just keep going, because it's so crowded in downtown, man. It's so crowded. Uptown Kenya is like, yeah, it's less crowded, less busy, and you know, uptown shenanigans, but downtown is wild, my friend. But it's super worth it though. It's super, super worth it. Yo, Cedric, bruh. Cedric, you gotta come to Namibia though. Like, for real. You gotta come to Namibia. I just feel like Namibia will be a bit more quiet for you because, like, Namibia is like a bit more chilled and it's not very busy. But regardless of which town you're in, hey, Namibia is a bit more like relaxed. And it's empty. You'll be wondering, like, where are the people? Like, when Kid was here, in my street, like in my neighborhood, you wouldn't see people. Like, it's just empty. Like, it's empty. Like, you would see like one person in my street if you're lucky. Otherwise, it's just quiet. Quiet. Yeah, but traveling is fun. I even think like Kid name Loki got addicted to traveling because of me, and I feel so guilty. Like, I feel bad that I influenced him in such a positive way. Okay, wait, guys. Yo, wait. Yo, anyways, guys, it's like 6:38, so I'm gonna have to end the live, but I'll be back maybe later today, or I'll be back later today or tomorrow. I think being live is actually cool. It's a good thing that I actually tried it out today because like I never go live. I can be quite shy sometimes, but we learn and grow every day. So I'm gonna have to tune off for now because I have something to do. I hope you guys enjoyed this live, and it was so nice catching up with you, Kate and Cedric. Oh my gosh, I miss you guys like more than words can say, and I hope I'm gonna see you guys again either in Kenya, in Namibia, or somewhere around the world. You never know, right? Don't stop traveling. Travel as much as you can. Like I said, I feel bad for influencing Kid to like start traveling because now he's addicted to traveling. And I'm worried about that. I'm worried about that. I don't know why I'm low-key worried, but I think I'm a bit worried. But he's a big boy, so he'll be good. He'll be good. So, guys, anyway, this live wasn't really planned, and I didn't really have a lot to say aside from talking about what was that, remote jobs and all of that. So yeah, do check out the websites that I gave you guys today, and yeah, try to come to Namibia. At least you have a host right here. All right, guys, logging out now. See you and have a nice evening. Bye.